Welcome to this vlog, everyone. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild.
It's raining!
Haven't really given much thought to this moving vlog.
Yeah? I don't think Mother Nature has given much thought to our moving process.
Walmart! My biggest nightmare.
Put your hand down, you're gonna hit me in the head.
Does anyone else like just roaming around when your husband wants to leave? Because I do. We need so many things. I just got back from Walmart. It was a complete fail, which is great. This is what we get for waiting until the last minute to do some things that we need for tomorrow when we move. And yeah, just like feeling so happy, kind of sad at the same time to be saying bye to the apartment that, you know, we lived in when we got engaged, when we got married, it was the first place that we lived together. So it's like bittersweet to have this be our final night. And so again, I just wanted to jump on here to say all of that and going to do my best to vlog tomorrow just to have the memory. And it's probably gonna be crazy, fingers crossed. There's no rain tomorrow, but yeah, see you then. Love that my husband didn't want to hire movers. Dropping off Dobby.
You sure you can't help us pack jobs?
You look so uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Oh, he's not amused. We're getting you a yard, Bubba.
That's it. We paid all that money for you to have a yard.
Finally got our coffee. Long morning.
Finally alive.
No one talks about how stressful home buying is, like the day that you get the home that you thought you already had pretty much.
Until the key is in the door.
So now it's like we sign all these papers, we do our last walkthrough, and we still have to wait to go on record. So it's the waiting game. We are gonna continue packing in hopes that this all works out.
It's all gonna work out. It's just a matter of time.
But I'm using my phone also. Sorry, this vlog quality probably is not gonna be great, but we're about to be homeowners.
That's it.
Maybe, who knows?
Very secure. Very secure. We're home.
Hi, can I sit here? Can I sit here? Oh, okay. I will sit around you.
We're here.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm just excited.
I can tell.
As you can see by the title, we bought a house.
Yay!
And we wanted to film a video, or I wanted to film a video, and I asked Jonathan to film with me to kind of reflect on the entire experience because it's been insane. As any of you who have already bought a house, you know, and if you haven't already bought a house and maybe you're thinking about doing so in the near future or even down the line, this could be helpful to you. And I think our process is similar to what a lot of people go through, but you really don't know until you experience it yourself.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, Dobby.
He's getting used to it too.
So originally I planned to have a video go up before this video of us moving in, kind of a vlog style video, and then it was just too crazy. I don't know what I thought I was doing, like trying to film amid moving and all that jazz. Yeah. So I turned the camera off and we just have been soaking up like our first week in the house. Today's 1 week actually.
Today is 1 week, wow. Happy 1 week.
Happy 1 week. Just get into it. So we bought a house, and we bought a house in our 20s, and it's been crazy. So
yeah, it's crazy is a good word for it.
Yeah. So I do have some notes and things that I've just jotted down throughout our experience and process, but I do just kind of want this to be like off the cuff. So I think the first step for a lot of people when you are beginning your house buying journey, I guess, is deciding that you want to buy a house. And I think a lot of people wonder, when is the right time to buy? Should I be buying? Should I be renting? How much money do I need? And all of that. And we are by no means financial advisors or anything. We're just going to talk about like our thought process and our decision-making process throughout this experience and keep it pretty high level. And maybe I'll do another video eventually of more granular details into our process. But we decided we were going to buy, like, probably early 2020. We knew that by the end of the year our goal was to be in a house. We thought it would be much earlier than we ended up actually being in a home.
I think even before that, you kind of realize, you know, what are you both looking for? Like, what kind of lifestyle? Like, Courtney and I both thought, like, single family, even though, you know, it's the right decision for some people to buy a 2-family or a duplex or a condo, you know, different settings. We wanted a more, you know, backyard, you know, home style house as opposed to, like, city living. So
I forgot that was a part of our, like, process before we actually decided that we were going to do something like this home. We ended up with a ranch, single family, but we did talk about, okay, investment, should we do multifamily and then have it be a rental property eventually? And to Jonathan's point, like, we knew we wanted to be in the area that we're at. We knew we didn't want to be in the city. We both work in Boston. We considered renting in the city, buying closer to the city. It's like all those things you should think about before you actually take the first step in home buying, because it'll just make your life easier if you can narrow down and hone in on what you want.
Right.
So that's a good point. I didn't think about all of that went into it.
Because if you're just shooting from the hip, be flexible.
And we're gonna get into that too, because we ended up in the area we wanted, like in North Shore, Boston area, but in a city that we didn't ever really consider, town, whatever it is. Okay, so then from there, once we knew, like Jonathan just mentioned, like the high level details, location, what was important to us, what type of home, things like that, you obviously have to think about money. The great thing is that there are so many options for you to set financial goals and be able to meet them with whatever your situation is. You hear people constantly say, like, get to 20% so you don't have to pay that PMI, and if you do some more digging and research, you'll learn about all of that. And the finances, again, not going to get super into that, but just know, and I'm very comfortable saying, you do not have to get to 20% if it's not feasible for you. There are so many options out there. I think that's really discouraging because you're thrown, especially from older generations, you know, you need to get to 20%, you need to do this. Like, I'm here to just tell you that you can do whatever you want as long as you understand maybe some of the consequences of putting less money down and making sure you're okay with that. You can make it work for whatever is within your means, I would say.
Can't put a square peg in a round hole. So it's like, you got to figure out what works for you. Everybody's different.
Just understand.
It is possible though. Like, you know what we did, we kind of took a step back and just, like I said, everybody's situation is different. So like, I was just getting out of law school and just starting my career. We kind of set a goal, you know, where we needed to be, like X dollars by this time, and when do we want to be moved in by. We were pretty close to both of those goals when it was all said and done. Yeah, you can surprise yourself. I did a whole video on small changes you can make in your everyday life to help you save, because you can have a goal that you can reach by putting a certain amount of money in an account, but I think you'll notice that your quality of life is better when you make other little changes to help you save too, and that helped me so much. Like, not even just trying to plug another one of my videos, the small changes that I put in that video helped us to reach a goal where we were able to buy our beautiful home here. So don't set a goal that's crazy. Just understand what will make you happy and find a way to make it work for you. If that makes sense. I think so.
Okay, I'm blabbering a little bit, but getting back on track. Let's see.
I was just gonna say something. Crap.
It'll come to you. So also, like, in that grain of trying to figure out where you need to be financially, what you want, I think it's important to understand what your absolute musts are and where you can be flexible. And so I would suggest outlining those things and talking with your partner if you're moving with someone else, or whoever it is. Like, identify what your absolute musts are and things that you can be a little bit more flexible with. Like, for us, number one was we always wanted a dog. We always wanted a yard for our dog. That was like non-negotiable. That was the reason why we weren't renting. That was the reason why, you know, that was a number one must for us. Location, we knew we wanted to be in North Shore, Massachusetts. That was an absolute must. 3 bedrooms, because probably gonna start a family in the next few years. I'm trying to think of what else were our initial musts, because I'm gonna get into the flexibility piece, because some things you can be flexible on that you realize is better to be flexible and not.
There's a want and a need list.
Jonathan reminded me of that often. Like, a lot of people get, I think, excited about a glitzy home and don't think about the little things that are a little bit beyond eyes reach when you look at a house, but ask those questions about storage, ask questions about, you know, parts of the home that are not visible just when you look at a house, because then you can get caught up. I know I did. There were so many homes we fell in love with that just didn't make sense, but were hard to let go of because they were so...
It had the glitz and the glams and HGTV finishes.
Yes,
but when
the
you got
Pinterest house. Our realtor kept saying, Courtney, stop looking at the Pinterest house. Like,
when you got down to the bones of it, a lot of them were scary. I know we saw one with a, not to get into property, but we saw one with like a slanted foundation, and it
my gosh, I had like vertigo immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I do want to get into some of that because I think that's helpful too, like the actual home visiting part of the process, because I think that is definitely the most stressful out of everything. So again, just getting back to thinking about like before you even actually start the process, identify your must lists, your want lists, the things you can be flexible on. And I think my suggestion is that your must list should be as short as possible, like under 5 things, because you're going to realize that it's going to do you a disservice if you aren't able to have a lot on your want list, but you can budge in order to have the absolute must.
Yeah,
so.
And your must list, once you own the property, I mean, you can do what you want. It becomes flexible, so there's always space to change and things like that. So it becomes even that much more flexible if you see potential in a home.
And with your finances too, as much as I keep harping on, you know, don't compare yourself to other people, like do what works for you. Also, when you figure out what works for you, stick with that. Like we had a number that we knew was like our number, our sweet spot, and the first house we looked at, we were trying to go crazy over the number, and I'm so grateful for that house. That one was like ripping a band-aid. That was the hardest loss I think in our whole process, and it was...
That house broke my heart twice.
I know, that's another whole story, but I wish someone had told me, and actually pretty much everyone in our life told us, like, this is not the most sensible decision you're making by making an offer that is just well above your means, but you get caught up in it and you get excited and you justify your decisions. And looking at that experience now that we're in a house that we absolutely love, was completely in our original budget, like I'm just so grateful that we didn't overexert ourselves, because then you become house poor, which everyone talks about and you never really care about when you're moving into a...
Could you try...
Siri. And so point of that is just don't compare yourself to other people, but once you understand your own financial situation, like respect it and stay within like the boundaries you set for yourself.
And like our point of view of this whole, like, you know, recapping on buying a house is from a first-time home buyer. So what I would like to suggest, like I think the best thing we did is just use every tool you have available to you. Use every resource. We talked to multiple banks about multiple mortgages. We talked to realtors. We had a close family relative that was our realtor and we trusted. But, you know, we considered a lot of different options. There are a lot of local, you know, education tools that you can use. I know a lot of people have like first time home buyer classes and things like that. So I would do as much homework as you possibly can and talk to as many people as you trust.
Totally.
To work through the process. You don't, as much as you have this number and you don't want to compare yourself with others, a lot of people have gone through this experience, and you can learn from what they've done and, you know, what they would have done differently or what they did successfully.
Totally.
And just, you know, just use every tool available to you.
Yep.
It's a hard process because you cannot know all of this. No one can.
And we still don't. Like, we don't. Some things we did were like,
we know the roof's over our head, but that's about it.
We sleep well at night. To your point, just make educated decisions based on the information that you're given and what makes sense for you. So, great one, honey.
That's me. A great one.
You're a great one. Next up is getting a realtor. So, this is so important, and I think that you probably know a lot of people in your life that are realtors. You might have referrals for you. I just want to say, don't feel any type of obligation to go with someone for whatever reason. I think you need to know what's going to work for you. We struggle with that because we have a lot of awesome realtors in our lives that we would have been so lucky to work with, and we ended up going with my cousin, and we were nervous at one point because you'd never, like, mixing business with pleasure. Is it going to work out for you? Is it not? But we were so comfortable with him, and it ultimately worked out. He's an absolute rock star. So it couldn't have been a better choice. But I just think, like, take advantage of your network, but also make a decision that is going to be best fit for you. You're going to be spending a lot of time with your realtor, and you want to trust your realtor and know that they are good at their job, that they're going to be always interested in your best interest.
Yeah.
And so I just think, like, don't choose a realtor lightly. It's not like other things in your life. Like, it is a huge part of this home buying process.
Yeah, if you have that local connect, or like that personal connection, you know, what we did was we said, you know, there is this personal connection, but if you separate that from, you know, their capabilities, would you pick this realtor? And like for us, it was easy. I think you want a realtor that's like more eager about the process than you, and like
having a realtor that was able to ask the right questions, look at the right things, like that is important. Like that is so important. You don't need a realtor that's just good at like selling the most expensive houses and doing whatever. It's who's asking the right questions. Not gonna get super into like details of every house we made an offer on because we'd be here all day, but just piece of advice, you know, do your research and get a realtor that's gonna be a great fit for you. And then the next step of the process is getting pre-approved for a loan. So this is something that I encourage you to think about as you are beginning your house hunting journey or just starting the process, because getting pre-approved for a loan is probably the most essential part of your home buying. And so just be prepared for that and do your best to understand how to calculate what you can
I mean, there are so many online resources just like everything else, but you want to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, look, I don't get this, or like, what does this mean? And so having someone that, again, like the realtor, someone you can pick up the phone or you can text, having a live person on the other end of that decision is so beneficial. You know, if you want to start thinking about doing this, do it as early as you can, you know, because there may be something that you need to, you know, correct, you know, say, you can get a better rate if your credit's better, or you can get a better rate if you do this, or you can save here.
Okay, your credit score, that's a whole other thing.
There's so many programs out there that, you know, for they'll help you with the down payment, or they'll do some sort of assistance. So start that process before you need to, you know, really get out. You know, there's a lot you can do before you get ready. And
before you're emotionally invested. Like, I think you're just helping your own self out when you organize the logistics and you understand how to stay within your means before you get emotionally invested in the process.
Don't get emotionally invested.
Oh, don't. It is not fun. Credit score you mentioned too, super important. Understand your credit score. FICO, you can run like free credit scores through like your credit card companies usually, and things like that. So just understand your credit score before you get started, and look up ways to up your credit score. If it's low, do not get discouraged. Like, there are ways to get it up. There are very simple fixes in your life or simple changes you can make. So understand your credit score and just start to work towards getting that sucker up. I'm like, what's next on my list? I literally wrote, now is when you need wine, lots of wine. So we started our process back in July of like touring houses and making offers and all that. Like, we were in it. Like, that is when you know you're in it. And so advice that everyone gave us was, don't get so emotionally invested in a house. Like, to me, I just think that's the worst advice, because you have to decide, and especially in this market, in a very short period of time. Like, I'm talking, you see the house, you make a decision that day, literally. Maybe you have another day, to put everything you have into this house, your finances, your heart, because you have to picture yourself in this home, raising children in this home, or whatever it is for you. You have to make those decisions so quickly, only to find out that you may or may not get the house. Like, it's such a quick process that there's no other way. You can't not get invested. Like,
so like when you put when you look at a house, you have to picture yourself there, as Court's saying, and like, you know, can I live here? Would I like it here? You know, could we start a future here and all that good stuff? So you make a financial decision based on that feeling, but at the end, you may have not got the house. So, you know, the first couple like really hurt, but you kind of build up a callus and you say, you know what, I love this house. I'd be thrilled if I get it, but you have to be able to just compartmentalize it and walk away from it when it's done, if you're not lucky enough to get it.
Which is easier said than done. So I'm just here to tell you that we are looking back and we're able to say, like, don't get emotionally invested. We understand if you do blah blah blah. Like,
it's impossible.
It's impossible. Like, you're going to cry, you're going to need lots of wine, and you're gonna be okay too. Like, the first house we lost was really hard, and then actually the last house that we lost before this one was really hard. I will just tell you that it is terrible. It's awful. No one else understands. People are so there for you, but no one really gets it. You're kind of in it alone in this bubble. But it is stressful, and those feelings are completely warranted. Like, you're allowed to be really sad. You're allowed to be down on yourself for a little bit, but you're gonna end up in the house of your dreams. Like, everyone kept telling us, like, it always works out. Real estate, you always end up in the house you're supposed to be in. And like, that did not feel good for me during the process. I don't know about you, but now, like, I couldn't picture us anywhere else. So.
And losing a house isn't like the worst thing. Like, if you lose a house at your number, then you know it wasn't the house to be.
Yeah.
You can't really stretch yourself much further just because you've fallen in love with the house, you know. You start doing the mortgage calculator and you see that, you know, going up this amount only changes the monthly, but it's a slippery slope, you know. So, like, if you lose a house at your number and you put all your cards out there and you did everything you could, you just gotta tip your hat and, like, walk away from it and move on. Like, don't try to just stretch yourself above your means, like, or outside of your means, whatever it may be.
Yeah. No, I agree. You definitely kept bringing me down to planet Earth when I was like, but we could have paid $1 million for this house. I'm kidding. That is not our budget. So we started in July and we closed on our house December 1st. So in that time we made offers on how many houses, you think?
Probably 6, 7.
I thought it was like...
We saw more houses than that, but offers we probably saw up to 20 houses.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we made offers on like 9 houses.
It's such a, like, there's probably 7 or 8 houses we put offers in on.
Yeah, and again, like, each house, that might not seem like a big number, but I never pictured at the beginning of this process we'd be making offers on that many houses, because I would have assumed we would have gotten a house by then. I don't know, or maybe that seems like a low number to you, and awesome, you're gonna be just fine in your process, but I certainly thought that we were gonna be in, like, by Halloween, a house. Like, I didn't think it would be the winter time before we would get to one. And so I think, again, piece of advice, just don't have a timeline, don't have like I kept saying I want to be in a house for Halloween, I want to hand out like snacks to trick-or-treaters, and
like, it's gotta be flexible.
Yeah, so anyways, we ended up, so how many months is that, July through December?
7 to 12, 5.
Okay, so 5 months. It actually doesn't seem like that long, but I thought
it feels like an eternity.
I know. Wait, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 5. Math. This next part of the process that I swear no one talks about, and maybe we just had the most insane, like, experience, but we found out that our offer was accepted in October.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
So you think you won the game at that point?
We were like screaming from the mountaintops. We thought everything was peaches and cream, roses and rainbows, unicorns frolicking in the fields, dancing around leprechauns, gold, fairy dust. And nope, not the case. So basically, just the fountain of truth over here to help you guys out. Like, also don't get too excited when your offer is accepted, because there is a lot to be done. And again, this is when it's super important too that you have a great realtor that you trust, because there's a lot of work to be done after your offer is accepted. There's appraisals, there's home inspections, there's negotiating, there's purchase and sale you need to get to, which is usually like 7 days after your offer is accepted, where you're still pretty good. You're not binded by contract then.
We're not. Let the lawyers take care of that.
You are a lawyer, so there's a lot of paperwork. You saw my hand still hurts from the amount of paperwork, but basically it is just a lot of craziness after your offer is accepted, and the roller coaster continues. Like, I cried a few times in between, like, offer accepted to our closing date on December 1st. So it was like still 7 weeks of craziness, and I didn't know about that, because I do think a lot of people have a super smooth process. Some people look at one house and get it. Some people like close in 4 weeks and they have no bumps in the road. Like, this is just our experience, and I did not realize how emotional the process would be at the very end too, once we actually had the house. Because then you start picturing the house, you don't even know if you can buy furniture for it, because you still might not get it. There's like so many things that can happen. So I'm just so happy to be here. It's like the craziest experience.
Yeah, it is a whirlwind, and there's a lot that goes on in the paperwork part of things, and
paperwork.
You just gotta stay patient.
You were so good with it. Yeah. I hate paperwork. I hate signings. I hate having to print things. Like, I know that's so obnoxious, but thanks for picking up that slack. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about in this, but it really just was, you know, I wanted to sit down with you and just go through like our experience high level. Let me know if you want to hear more detail or if you want to hear more specifics. Like, I'm on this channel to be transparent and just talk about things that happen in my life that can maybe help any one of you. So happy to do that, but I also don't want to bore any of you. So wanted to just talk high level about the steps in the house buying process, what it looks like if you're in your 20s too. I think in your 20s, you're starting your career, you have recently finished school if that's what you did, or your trade or whatever. You're just kind of getting
you're starting your building blocks.
Yeah.
And like it feels like a lot at once, so like by all means like do what fits like your lifestyle and like what you want to do, because quality of life is a big thing. Like we probably could have afforded a bigger or like a a different house, but this fit our quality of life. It has everything that we want and need because we got lucky, but we weren't gonna stretch ourselves too far. We're still both young, dealing with student loans and starting our career. And,
just understand your situation. And a lot of people kind of were wondering, why don't we rent for a few years, or why don't you do XYZ, because you are young. And I think that you will just naturally face that when you are young house buyers, home buyers, or whatever. But just understand your situation, understand where you want to be in 10 years. Is it in the same house? That was something that we thought about too. Like, do we get a bigger house, spend a little bit more money, and be there for 10, 15, 20 years? Do we get a house that's perfect for us right now? Don't think too much, but think enough that you do what makes sense for you. And in your 20s, that is so hard because you're starting so many parts of your life and building your building blocks and facing student debt, if that's the case for you. It certainly is for us. And so just understand, and you're educated, you are perfectly capable of doing something like this. Don't be discouraged by your age. But just understand your situation.
Try to be as least impulsive as possible. It's not easy. There's a lot that goes into it. So just try to be able to take a step back and think about it,
and like
externally.
Enjoy the process. Like, I don't know, there are so many little things that I think back to, and like, I wish, and you always do this, right? Like, you always say like, oh, I wish that I had just enjoyed this process. I wish that I wasn't so stressed out or whatever. But do whatever you can to still laugh through it all. I mean, there were nights that I was crying, and then we ended up laughing and saying, that house wasn't meant for us. And again, more wine.
It's a very first world problem. Too. Like, you're looking at a house, like if you're lucky enough to be in this position, like there's a lot more.
100%. Like, all of the complaints that I had were ridiculous, honestly, and like, I'm still so fortunate that we were even in the process of buying a house. Try to enjoy it best you can. You're going to end up in a house that you're going to love, because
you may fight once or twice.
You may fight
over a house,
maybe more than once or twice. But we were pretty lucky that like our needs and wants were the same. Like, we never made an offer on a house that only one of us wanted. Did we?
No.
I was like, I don't think so. So you will find houses that one of you may love more than the other, and don't push too hard, because you don't want to end up in a home that one of you regrets down the line. That's never worth it. So try to just focus on the positive. I'll be my Hallmark card for a second. And enjoy it, and you are going to be so happy. I can tell you from personal experience, I am like on cloud 9 every morning waking up here, even though there's a lot of work to be done, but that's so exciting. Don't be overwhelmed by the work you're going to do in your home. You're going to make it your own, and it's all going to be worth it in the end. So thanks for sitting down with me, and thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know if you want more details on our home buying process. I cannot wait to show you this house and show you what I'm doing with it. So many projects.
We're doing a glow up?
Oh, we're doing some crazy glow ups. I don't know if I'll do a full walkthrough, maybe like after I do some other things that I have in mind, but I'm excited to have this space. I feel creative here. I feel like I can showcase a little bit more of me, a little bit more of us.
Not gonna showcase me, just us.
Just what? I'm just gonna make videos of Jonathan all day long. Yeah, I'm just super pumped. We bought a house.
Got it.
We bought a house. We got it. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. You can hit the little bell so you're notified every time I make a new video. What?
It just gets me every time. It's like a little jingle.
Jingle. Happy holiday season 2, everyone. I will see you in the next video.
I know I need some pain so I can learn how to love.